to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it shows you have audio now, but you still don't have audio.
What you can do though is you can go down to that near that microphone, grab the up arrow, and do a test speaker and microphone. And it'll also let you switch audio streams if you have more than one microphone connected. I don't know why you would, but
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I clicked that up arrow and I'm looking. Mine has a USB microphone selected, and
yeah, but what you can do, Bill, is you can do that test speaker and microphone, and you can speak, and it will, if it works, it will repeat it back to you.
oh, I see down toward where it says test speaker and microphone.
Yep, that's the place to go.
So if you click on that and then talk into it.
Yeah, and I can't share screen and show that because it won't let me share itself.
Yeah.
How about now? Are you hearing me?
Oh, got you.
Hey!
All right. Now I lost you.
Oh, now we lost you.
Now we lost your video. Oh. Man, you got a fancy looking shirt on there, Don.
Oh, well, I couldn't, got to dress up for my friends, right?
Oh yeah. That's why I wear this old shirt. Well,
Excuse me.
I got a new ICOM 9700 up and running here.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I've been copying Station Off the Moon right now, Netherlands station.
Wow.
And do you do digital mode, Don?
No, nothing at the moment. I'm still needing to put a hole in the house so I can get anything outside. So I apologize, but yeah. Now you got the $1,500 one or the $2,700 one?
No, it's the 9700. It's it was 1,500 plus tax.
Yeah, you got 15. Well, there's also a and maybe this is just somebody's high price on it because I saw another one for 2,700.
Well, there's only one 9700, and
No, I mean $2,700.
yeah, but there's only one 9700, and the price
Oh, okay.
price should be around.
Probably somebody charging too much.
Yeah. Well, it's the new thing right now, but it's got 2 meters, 440, and 1296.
Mhm.
Only those 3 bands. So it's a 3-band all mode transceiver.
Yeah.
100 watts on.
Yeah. So I see DX Engineering's doing that for $1,500.
Okay, that's where I bought it from. DX.
Yeah, free shipping and handling. So $1,500 straight up. I guess plus tax if you live in Ohio, but
Yeah, it was plus tax here too.
what was it? Okay.
It was about $1,650 or something like that total.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm happy with it so far. I'm copying a signal right now coming off of the moon, and it's going to be.
What are you using for antenna?
I have a pair of homebrew 20 element antennas.
But I mean, you got them on an ASL and you got them aimed at the moon, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact,
I didn't know if maybe it was a really strong. You were just using an Omni, like a loop or something.
No, I've got a camera on the moon. I can see the moon right now. I got a crosshair on my screen, and I can see that I'm tracking the moon.
All right.
Well, I think I'm back. Can anybody hear me?
You are back, Bill.
You're 5x5 now, Bill.
Okay, thank you.
I
I switched computers
oh
and I thought I had this set up, but I didn't have it all
You did
set
a
up.
pretty fast switch, and I just got a landline. I hate that.
Okay. Well, I wonder what they're up to at the meeting tonight.
Good to hear your voice, Dave. Yeah, I'm on a Zoom call right now with some ham buddies, but I'm going to mute this. Guys, I'm going to have to go QRX for a few minutes. No, no.
Completely understood. I'll take care of business. So Bill, I don't think we've met. I used to live in Norman quite a while ago, probably, let's see, when did we move out? My goodness. Probably 98 was when we left Norman, but I used to be in Scars.
Where are you living now?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Wow, it's cold up there.
It is it was this morning.
It was, it actually hit 80 here today.
Oh, wow. Well, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. We were up to about 55 and the leaves, I had to go mow the leaves, as they say. So I did get out and run the mower over the leaves.
Yeah, that's that's what's going on here. The leaves are falling like crazy, and they've got to be blown out of the flower beds and then mowed over with a mulching blade on it. But I've got 10 acres here to contend with, but 5 of it is mowed and 5 of it's wooded.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, I've just got about here. I've got just under an acre, but
That's plenty. That's plenty.
it's it's plenty. I have a little what is it, a 46-inch 20 horse Cub Cadet with a Kohler motor, and you know what, I can knock the worst of the mowing out in an hour and a half. And if I really want to go, get crazy and get the back corners and everything, maybe 2 hours, and then another hour or 2 to trim everything, if I even want to bother to trim.
Yeah, I've got a 60-inch John Deere 0-turn, but last few years I've been having it mowed by a guy that mows it. He's got a 70-inch mower that he mows with, and he flies. I mean,
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I used to have this Ferris front loader that had I think it was a 60-inch, but the deck was on the front, and I had a ball with that thing. I mean, it was like 10 feet long. So the deck was on the front,
yeah.
2 big wheels, and then one smaller wheel in the back, and
Right.
not exactly a 0-turn, but real close to it if you did it right.
Well, he's got a 0-turn with the deck out front, which is a 60, and then he's got a 70 belly mower. And he can get it done really quick. And
yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, I had that one. Our previous house, we were out in semi-rural Kansas, in a place that had been built on old farm fields, and so it was a little rough and bumpy in the backyard, and we were probably mowing 2 out of our 3 acres, and I started off with basically the older version of the same mower I have now, old Cub Cadet 46-inch, I think I had a 42 at the time, but whatever. It was definitely not enough mower.
I started with a used Cub Cadet 42, I believe,
Mhm.
with a color on it. And the first time I tried to mow, we mow around 5 acres, maybe a little less.
Right, right.
And first time I tried it, I said, no, this is not going to work. And so I started looking for another mower.
Yeah.
Then I mowed with that John Deere for a number of years until I got too tired to mow.
Understood. Yeah, yeah. I fussed with that Cub Cadet for the first season, and I think the second year I decided to let the backyard grow. I trimmed it for about 30, 40 feet back from the house, and I let the rest of it. I just let the rest of it grow. I trimmed the edges and trimmed a path down the middle because we had a pond at the back. And but yeah, no, once I got a proper big mower, okay, yeah, it cost me stupid money, but
Yeah, they're expensive, but if you take care of them, they'll last a long time. This John Deere has got it's got a Japanese engine on it.
not Kawasaki, maybe.
Yeah, Kawasaki. It's got a 27 horsepower Kawasaki on it.
They're not unusual. Those should be good mowers. Yeah, I had.
They're no better than the Colors, I don't think. I think Kohler makes an excellent engine.
I'll give you that. Yeah, you're probably looking at something similar quality.
Colors last and last and last.
Oh, they sure do. But yeah, I ended up leaving that mower. I leaving both of those mowers, the Cub and the Ferris, with the next owners of the property, because they kind of made it a condition of sale. They said, "Hey, you throw these in." Well, they said, you throw these in and we'll buy it for your asking price." I'm like, okay. Save me the trouble of having to sell them.
Well, yeah, move them or sell them or whatever,
we're talking, the Cub Cadet tractor. I mean, those things are, $2,000 new. They're probably 600-800 used if you're lucky. And I paid $5,000 for that Ferris, $5,000 or $6,000 for that Ferris used. And I'd put it only had like 100 hours on it, and I'd put another 200 hours on it. So what, worth $2,000 or $3,000 versus selling the house right away?
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah.
I sure as heck wasn't going to move that big monster.
When we sold our last house, I threw in a lot of stuff. The guy was had been fairly recently divorced and didn't have any furniture or anything, and we had furniture we weren't planning on using in the new house anyway. So I said, well, if you're really interested, I can throw in bedroom furniture and dining room furniture. I throw in the refrigerator, and I had him fixed up. I mean, Oh, I was going to ask you, what does the video look like? I got a new camera and hooked to my main computer rather than doing it on my laptop, and I was just wondering what the new camera looked like.
I would say yours looks as good or slightly better than mine.
This is supposedly a high definition camera that
it's doing a fine job. Yeah, I had somebody mention that to me earlier today. This is a 10-year-old Logitech, but it's not the $35 one. This was like $95 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was on this one. This is on a meeting this morning or this afternoon, whatever. And because my work laptop was being a pain in the butt and was having issues anyway. So I finally got the work laptop going, and I signed into Zoom on that one instead, and then canceled this one. And the guy's like, what happened to your video? It's the camera on the laptop obviously isn't anywhere close to this one.
No.
So, and
no.
I would say the one you've got is probably even way better. I can see some artifacts on mine, little vertical. Where are they here? I can see some vertical lines. It's hard to do this while I'm watching it, but yeah, vertical lines here.
Well, I don't see them on my end though.
Oh, you're not seeing those?
No.
No, they're really faint.
Well,
And they're actually repeated. So yeah, maybe they're not obvious enough to enough for you to see.
that looks good from this end.
You should have seen me this morning though. I had the sun shining in. My windows right here. The sun was shining in so high. And again, it was with the laptop camera, so it was straight on. Not angled like this one. It was coming straight on. There was like this, not a halo, but it was like this shimmer coming off of me, like I was ascending into heaven or something.
Oh, that's funny.
It was pretty funny.
So are you still active in ham radio?
Not as much as I should be.
Well,
I pick up the handheld every once in a while. I don't have a car. I don't even have a radio in the car at the moment. I need to throw one in there. As I keep telling everybody, I need to put a hole in the house and put an antenna outside. And now I'm waiting on a new gig where I may be moving somewhere else anyway. So now
you don't want to put too much in an permanent antenna.
Yeah, well, I mean, it don't cost much to throw a wire up though.
That's true. That's true. I've been working on I'm just getting back into ham radio. In fact, I haven't even been on the air since I got relicensed. I let my license expire years and years and years ago.
Oh, was that you that just posted on the group?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I posted anything.
Okay, maybe somebody else. There was somebody posted on Scars or one of my other ham groups about them just getting back into radio. So yeah. So anyway, sorry, but please continue.
Well, I was just saying that I got my license when I was got my novice license, which I don't even have anymore, when I was 14 or 15, 14, yeah. And then I got my general class when I was 15, I guess, and was really interested in it for several years there. Then got interested in cars and girls and other things, and then was off to college. And when it came time to renew, I just didn't renew. I should have, but I found out, which I didn't know. I thought I was going to have to take the tech and the general, but they have a program or a rule that if you were a general, all you have to take is the tech portion. And if you pass that, then you're relicensed as a general. They grandfather you in to the general class just by passing the tech. I guess the main thing they want to do is make sure you're kind of up to speed on all the new modes and the new rules and regulations and that sort of thing that's covered in the tech.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the tech, passed the tech, and they checked the general box. And I've been buying a lot of stuff, but I haven't been on the air.
That's easy to do
because I don't have an antenna. But my antenna project has turned into kind of a nightmare. Mm-hmm. I'm putting up a 40-foot self-supporting tower, and I'm putting a hex beam on the top. And so
I'll get you going.
And I bought a Yaesu DX10 that's sitting here, which I turned on for the first time yesterday. And you'll get a laugh out of this. I had it hooked to just to receive, to have something to see if it would receive. I plugged in a set of rabbit ears.
Mhm.
And I actually copied stations on 40 meters several hundred miles away.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
I remember sitting, I was sitting out, admittedly, this was a local guy, but I was in Kansas with a little $20 shortwave portable, AM FM shortwave. The guy was operating 40 meters AM. He was probably 20, 30 miles away from me and heard him absolutely clear. And I looked up his call sign and sent him an email and said, "Hey, man,
This
good.
guy-
Yeah, believe it or
this guy
not,
was-
I heard you with a little whip antenna on a shortwave radio here in Gardner, Kansas." So
This guy
that
was
happens.
this
Yeah.
guy was in Branson, Missouri, and boy, he was booming in.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of other stations trying to work him, and he was kind of running stations.
Well, that's
Yeah.
really good, Bill, because rabbit ears is pretty small antenna for 40 meters.
Yeah, it's not much of an antenna. But for 40, I tried 20 and I couldn't hear anybody on 20.
What time of the day was it?
Oh, it was mid-afternoon, I
Usually
guess.
20 is open until dark or a little after. But
Well,
we had a EME event not too long ago, and I've heard several people say that 20 meters wasn't working, but I haven't been on 20. I bought a new ICOM 9700. I got it yesterday, and I got it. I already made some FT8 contacts on 2 meters with it today, and I have copied several stations via the moon off of 432 megahertz. I don't have it fixed up where I can transmit yet, but I can receive them. And I was just sitting there copying Netherlands station off of the moon.
Wow,
whenever
that's
this started.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows you how much things have changed since
Yeah.
I've ever been on the air.
Yeah. Digital mode is fantastic.
Oh yeah, all that's new.
Mhm.
I mean, since
Well, you don't need much power with digital mode. Therefore, you don't have to have a super antenna. People don't have to spend a lot of money on antennas and amplifiers and all that to be able to work Europe on hand bands.
on FT8.
FT8 is one of them. Yeah, it's the new one, but there's been digital modes for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, RIDI was the only digital mode
Yeah.
back when I was a ham, and I didn't have a RIDI rig. I didn't.
Well, I did RIDI, but I did it software.
Yeah, you can do it with software now, right?
Yeah.
You can do everything with software
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was-
you're gonna have to get set up. Once you get going there, you're gonna have to get set up with some digital stuff, and you'll really enjoy that.
I was telling Don I did turn my radio on yesterday for the first time, or maybe you heard that already, and played around with the controls. And I didn't try to load up on the rabbit ears though.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, I've been doing the same thing with this 9700, trying to learn it. Man, I read that book, and it just don't help me at all.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if yours is like this, but when I push a button, then it brings up a touch screen, and man, you got to be quick on that touch screen or it's gone.
Really,
I think it gives you about 2 or 3 seconds to
There's
touch
probably a setting to change that.
something. There may be. The manual's about a 1/2 inch thick, so there very well could be a.
Here's the manual on this 9700. It's only about a 1/4 inch thick. But so far it seems to be pretty good. It seems it's copying these signals off the moon as good as my K3 and the Elecraft transverter. And this the signal I'm copying off the moon is on 432 megahertz, 70 centimeters.
I was also telling Don that I got one of the reasons I was having trouble getting on there is I got a new camera and put it on my desktop computer. I'd been running off of my laptop all along. I had to dig out my laptop each time. So I finally broke down and bought a little camera.
Yeah.
And you've always had really good audio and video on your connection.
Well, this is a cheap USB camera, and I only hook it up for the meeting, and I clip it up here on the monitor, and I plug in the other end on the USB connector on the front of my desktop, and that's it. It's a cheap, it was really cheap.
Well, this one wasn't expensive for sure. It was, it's a Logitech, but it was on Black Friday sale. You know?
You can't go wrong with the Logitech.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've only ever had one Logitech product that I've ever been disappointed with, and that was a inexpensive wireless mouse that is just not. I think it's just we'll say too long in the tooth.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a Logitech mouse.
That looks like probably the same one I got here. I've got a little. Yeah, I've got a little mini one, and
Logitech keyboard.
It's getting to where it's not very responsive anymore, and this little one that I've got on the other computer, and I'm going to retire it.
I just decoded Australia via the moon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On one of the digital modes?
Yeah, VK3 Echo Delta X-ray, Australia.
Wow.
Look him up on QRZ. I'm going to.
How about that?
Yeah, that's the only piece of Logitech gear I've ever been even remotely disappointed with. But yeah, the rest of it, the one I've got on this machine, I've just about worn the logo off of it.
He's in Thunder Bay. Oh, he's in Canada, not Australia.
Yeah.
No, it says, I put in the wrong call sign. That's what's wrong. Let's try that again. K3EBX. I guess I'm having trouble typing. He's not in the database. The grid square is QF21, wherever that is. Oh well.
What was that grid square?
QF21.
Quebec?
No, it's a VK3 call sign.
Yeah, but what was you said the grid square was Quebec Sierra 21?
Quebec Foxtrot 21.
Oh, Quebec, okay.
Oh, well.
Well, that's probably not North America.
No. So, how do you like the new radio, Bill?
Well, I just played around with it, for about an hour or so, seeing if I could receive anything. And I finally did find that guy on 40 meters and listen to him for a little while. And I got, most of the stations that were calling him back, I could hear also.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
40 meters is good band after dark. Oh, by the way, Bill, I want to tell you, the guy I was talking to on the phone just now.
Yeah.
Was Dave Ernst. Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
do.
who I was talking to.
I knew Dave Ernst really well.
Yeah, me too.
Sure
Yeah.
did.
Okay,
So
He
yeah.
had,
I'm
he
sorry.
had he had a Collins 51J receiver, and that was passed on to him from a friend of his, and a friend of his dad was a ham, and he passed that Collins receiver on to his son, and then his son gave it to Dave, and Dave decided to get rid of it, and Mark Klein ended up getting it.
Oh, really?
And when Mark picked it up, Mark was talking to Dave, and Dave said he retired from Seagate. And Mark said, "Well, I know someone retired from Seagate." And so he gave Dave my phone number, and Dave just now gave me a call. It was good to hear his voice.
How about that? It is, yeah.
Don't run off, Sam. If you do, we'll talk about you.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken, I don't know if you had a chance to look up that Quebec Fox 2-1, but that's south of Melbourne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't have time.
So yeah, it must be where that guy is, if that's the correct
Yeah, that's the correct grid.
grid square. Because I would expect that's definitely not a North American grid square.
No.
Well, Ken, I got some more done on the antenna this week. I got
You got any pictures?
I've got some on my phone, but I haven't posted them yet, but I will.
Yeah.
Where's the best place to post them on the?
Put them on our what's it called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I
The one where I put the other
Discord.
pictures.
Discord, which I renamed it. That's why I never can remember. I renamed it W5NOR chat.
Okay.
So whenever I look at it, that's what I see. That's why I never can remember the name of it.
So toward
But you post it there, hardly nobody sees it.
I know you're about the only one that's on there, right?
Yeah, a few of us, very few of us is active on there. We've got that good, man, that's a nice chat page. You can upload pictures and all kinds of stuff on there, and nobody gets on there and uses it. Anyway, you can put them on your qrz.com page.
I sent you a message on that chat.
I sent you one back about 2 hours later.
We missed each other.
Yeah.
I actually had a question for you on my Yaesu rotor. There's on the wiring of the plugs, and I know you've been working with those Yaesu rotors, and I think you've got exactly the same one I do, but the question is, in the cable I bought, there's two 18 gauge wires, and then there's about 4 or 5 20 gauge.
Just wanted to jump in and say hi to everybody.
Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Sam. Where you at, Mike?
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yeah. The two big ones are for the motor, Bill.
Yeah, I know, but which two pins are the motor? Is what I haven't been.
I'd have to dig out the schematic.
When you have a chance, I mean, it's nothing urgent, but when you have a chance,
Okay.
I got a schematic. Let me get what I got.
Your Mike, your audio was muted, and he's gone now. He's mobile somewhere, I guess.
Well, I don't know what I did with it.
I'll look it up and let you know tomorrow, Bill.
Okay, that'll be fine. I'd really appreciate that. I think it's 4 and 5, but
Yeah.
There's I looked at the schematic, and there's 2 leads going to it looks like two relays that have a diode around the relay contacts and then going to the motor. And I assumed that those were probably the
motor
the
lead.
relays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look it up tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll
You won't
I'll-
believe it, but I started out, I called DX Engineering, who I bought all that stuff from, and talked to their guy, and he looked and looked and looked, and he couldn't figure it out. And then I called Yaesu and talked to their tech, and he was scratching his head, and he, well, you know, I think it's 4 and 5, I believe. He didn't know either,
wow.
which kind of surprised me. You know, I thought once I got a hold of somebody at Yaesu that in their, you know, and he was one of their techs,
Mhm.
but he couldn't tell me either.
Yeah, I bet we can figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably work on so many pieces of equipment, you can't be an expert on any of them.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah.
But he was looking at the schematic, and I thought, you know, you'd be able to decipher that right away. And
You'd think so.
yeah, you'd think so. I'm sure you will be able to.
I climbed my short tower this morning and took down my 40-meter rotatable dipole. It's a full size, 66-foot long rotatable dipole, and it really catches a lot of wind. And I think it's responsible for screwing up my rotor up there. So I'm going to have to take the rotor down and see if I can fix it. And I don't think I'm going to put that big antenna back up there. Last year, when we had the big windstorms, I think it stripped a shear pin in that rotor. It's a big Haas rotor too. I mean, that sucker is huge.
Is that the Yaesu or a different rotor?
No, it's a different one, and it's one I used for a 2-meter moon bounce antenna, and it successfully rotated 4 M-squared 2-meter antennas at 33-foot boom. Had 4 of them up there.
Wow.
With 33-foot boom, and it rotated them for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years and never had a problem. And I put that 40-meter thing up there, and 6 months later, it stripped out something in there. And the problem is, if it's a gear or something like that, I probably won't be able to fix it because that rotor hadn't been made for 10 years, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad.
And it's a Haas rotor. That sucker is heavy.
Hmm. You got me looking at my data on, since we started talking about grid squares, I looked mine up. Mine's still showing me in Cleveland, Ohio, which is 2 addresses ago.
Yeah.
So
On QRZ.com.
on QRZ, yeah, I have to change it in QRZ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's easily doable.
But Bill, do you have any info on QRZ yet?
Yeah, my name and call signs on there, and I think my email address and
Yeah. Well, you need to put a couple pictures on there and stuff like that.
well, I've got some pictures.
Yeah, you do.
I poured about 2.5 yards of concrete in that hole.
Wow.
The guy made the hole a little bit bigger than I intended
Yeah,
to.
you told me that. It's a foot bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. It was supposed to be 4 feet long,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up making it 5 feet long.
Yeah.
But we couldn't put the dirt back in the hole, so we filled it up with concrete.
Well, I came across some old receipts when I was cleaning out one of my file cabinets back there, showing whenever my son and I poured the foundation for this Roan 45 EME tower back here behind my house. and we mixed it by hand, and we mixed 2.2 yards by
Oh my
hand.
gosh.
And back
Oh,
then,
Lord.
those were 80-pound bags, and it about killed us, man.
Would you mix? You say mix by hand, as in like in 5-gallon buckets, or?
No, we had one of them plastic tubs. that
Oh,
you-
okay.
You set on the ground.
Yeah,
right next
yeah.
to the
but
hole,
still, yeah,
and
That's
back
still a
back then,
hellacious amount of
had the
work.
yeah. But
con-
but you put 80 pounds of concrete in there, plus however much water.
well,
Yeah,
they backed the pickup right up to the hole and had the plastic mixing thing on the ground next to the hole. So we just slide the cement off the truck into it and bust it, put the water in it, mix it up, then tip it up and dump it in the hole. And I
yeah.
can't remember how many bags. I bought one trip was 109 bags, and one trip was 60 some bags, and one trip was 30 some bags. Oh man, it about killed us.
Yeah,
Were you-
well,
by the time you were done with that, were you thinking maybe we should have called somebody and had them just? bring it?
Yeah, well, the problem is where it's at. I didn't think I could get a cement truck because had a septic tank in the way and lateral lines and all that kind of stuff that you don't want that concrete truck to drive over.
Yeah, but you can have them dump it in a wheelbarrow, and you can wheelbarrow it
Now
over.
that'd been just as hard.
Oh no!
If you
no,
had a
no.
if you had a tractor with a bucket, you could have had them put it in a bucket and took it over there and dumped it. But wheelbarrow is not an easy thing to do.
Oh, I know.
yeah, I decided against hand mixing when I figured that a yard of concrete takes 65 bags of 80-pound bags.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it took that much to make the
Oh,
yard.
I didn't either. Obviously.
And I've done some of that. I've got a small electric mixer,
Yeah.
cement mixer, and I poured a small pad out behind the house out here, and that was several years ago when I was in better shape. But I couldn't handle 80-pound bags now.
Oh, me neither. But
I just couldn't do it.
60-pound bag feels to me like a 100-pound bag now.
Yeah, I know. I know when I was even when I was 19, there's 18, 19 working in the hardware store, 80-pound bags was about my limit.
Well,
I could sling them, but I certainly didn't sling them as fast as I slung the 40s.
Yeah.
You know, and I was a lot smaller and a lot better. I was a lot tinier and a lot better shape then. That was 100+ pounds ago.
Yeah. Well, my main problem is age.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, yeah, even as a kid, yeah, I did not like slinging those 80-pound bags around. So
Yeah.
I completely get that.
oh, Dave told me he was 84. I was thinking he was younger than me.
Yeah, Dave Ernst. I remember him well.
Yeah.
Good guy. Nice guy.
Yeah.
What kind of scope is that sitting on your workbench back there, Ken?
That's a Tektronix. I don't remember the number on it. What's that? Well, it's a 2012 Tektronix 2012 1 gigahertz sample rate.
Is that one you bought at one of the surplus sales from work?
No, I bought that $2,200, something like that,
You
4 or
bought
5 years ago.
I got a Tektronix. I couldn't tell you what the number on it is, but it was surplus in surplus sale out there at work. I bought quite a bit of stuff out of those surplus sales. You retired before I did. You retired.
I retired January 2000.
Yeah, they had a lot of surplus
Well,
sales after that.
yeah, whenever they had they called us all off site and gave us this big off site meeting and told us that it's the opportunity to retire early. I was 60 then, and they said they was going to give us a couple of weeks to think about it. And I said, I've thought about it long enough. Give me my money.
You didn't even let them get out of the room, huh?
No, I was ready to go. I was going to retire at 62 anyway.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
And then, that was before Christmas. So I had a lot of vacation, and we always took off between Christmas and New Year's anyway. There were so many holidays in there. And then with vacation, man, we could be gone from before Christmas till New Year's. We go to South Texas. And every year for years we did that.
Yeah, they were generous with vacation and with the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
We got 10 paid holidays and
Yep. I had 6 weeks paid vacation accrued for a while. I think then when Seagate bought us, I lost a week because they only gave 5 weeks. And I had 6 weeks accrued before Seagate took us. But I was still off a lot, man. You get all these paid holidays, and we had plenty of vacation time.
we did. It was a good place to work.
It was a good place to work, and I loved electronics, so that was a good place for me. And
Yeah, it was a really good.
I got to work around people that knew something. That was worth a lot.
Well, if they kept you for 21 years, apparently you knew something too, Ken.
Yeah, 27 years.
27 years.
Yeah.
I had you beat a couple of years. I was there 31 years.
I knew you was there longer than me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not much. A little bit.
Yeah. People couldn't believe I'd been there that long.
It was General Electric when I started.
Yeah, it was Honeywell when I started. But I started in building that one over there on Tulsa.
101. Yeah.
101.
Oh, no, 102. 101 was
101 was on
101 was on
39 Tulsa. And building 2 was behind it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and there was a gate that went from the back of building 1 to building 2.
Yep. Been through that gate many times.
And we worked on them big old tape machines back then. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Them monster, the size of a doorway, Don. Oh, and there's John. Hello, John.
How you guys doing tonight?
All right, how you doing?
Hey John.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I got to show you something, John.
Oh, microphone's coming.
Look at
Oh, make me proud, Ken.
this.
You gonna use it?
Not yet. Oh yeah. I hadn't talked to anybody, but I plugged it in and talked into the microphone, and I could see the power meter moving, so it works.
Oh, maybe you do some contesting this weekend.
I probably will, but it'll be digital mode.
Well, it's only SSB. It's only phone.
Well, John, I got the radio out, hooked the power supply up, turned it on, and hooked an antenna to it.
Nice.
If you can call it that. I got out a whole set of rabbit ears and stuck on it.
Okay.
It didn't want to load up on 80 meters too well on those rabbit ears.
Imagine not.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maybe you can load up a chain link fence or something.
But I could hear. I heard. I got on 40 meters and heard a guy up in Branson, Missouri, and he was running stations as fast as he could, and I could hear most of the people that were coming back to him. he was loud. I suspect
Wow.
he was probably running a amplifier and a big antenna because he was coming in like gangbusters on my rabbit ears.
I've been talking to Canada all day, seems like.
On what band, John?
20.
20?
Talked to a fella in Ontario and one in Manitoba. Oh, there was another fella up in Yukon, but they were on the air. They were booming. And I looked at his setup, man. He had quite a bit of towers. Actually, no, he had a hex beam. Hex beam that was 40 feet up, and he rotated it my way, and man, he just blew me away.
Well, one of these days, that's what I'm going to have, John.
Yeah. So, and he said he was running about 500 watts, and he sounded great. It was good to pick him up. I wish the Sunspot would pick up there, but
I did get the concrete poured.
do what now?
I did get the concrete poured.
Oh yeah. So you got.
Yeah.
So you're close.
Yeah. So I've got 10 foot of tower up and the gin pole.
And
Okay.
your tilt over base and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't. There's no real reason to put the rest of the tower on it yet until I
Yeah.
get next job I need to do get cracking on is putting that hex beam together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts to that hex beam.
Do you have a winch on your gin pole?
I do.
Good.
Well, I had a winch on that. I took it off while we're doing the concrete work,
Yeah.
but it's all drilled and tapped for the winch. All I have to do is put it back on.
Good deal.
And I've got the pulley I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have put that pulley back in before I set that gin pole up, because I'm gonna have to lean a ladder up against the gin pole and get up there to put the pulley in.
Yeah.
Bill, I wanted to ask you, what did the hex beam cost? Out of curiosity.
Well, there's different ones. There's actually a ham that makes one, a real well-known one, and that actually and it covers down to 6 meters.
Okay.
And I think he sells it for about $500 or $600. The one but he's out. He couldn't get. I was going to buy his, but he couldn't get the fiberglass poles. He's out of fiberglass, so all he could do was put me on a wait list.
Right.
DX Engineering had theirs in stock.
But it's like $900, ain't it?
It's 900, but there's a kicker there.
Okay.
And I wrote the guy that owns the place about it. I was reading the manual and I got to the page where you're supposed to hook up the coax pigtail. And they had that crossed out and they said, we no longer use this coax pigtail. You need to buy this $189 RF choke and mount on here.
Ouch.
So I thought, and there was nothing in the advertising that mentioned that, either in their catalog or on their webpage. So whatever his something K something LR with that huge station he's got up there with all big antenna farm, the guy that owns DX Engineering, he had put his email address on there and he said
The K3LR.
K3LR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right, Phil?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. He was here a couple of months ago, I think.
He was here at the
Well,
club.
no, he did the meeting. He was from DX Engineering, right, Phil?
Yeah, he did a Zoom presentation.
Yeah.
He owns DX Engineering. He's the chief cook and bottle washer. But anyway,
Yeah.
I wrote him and told him that I thought that was a, I don't know exactly how I phrased it, but essentially it was kind of bad advertising not to not to tell you that you're going to have to spend an extra $200 to get the thing working.
Right.
And
But did he respond?
they called me. Yeah, they called me on the phone. He didn't call me, but he had somebody call me and send me a $50 gift certificate. So it was worth.
I think I'm gonna call him.
I might email too.
Yeah, if they'd sent you a free choke, that would have been good.
That's what they should have done, because it's still not, even though I thought maybe they would go into at least their online webpage and put that in there, but they didn't. So I'm gonna write a note on,
Were they able to explain to you what that choke does?
well, other than keep any RF from coming back down your coax was their main claim, which I'm sure it probably does. I mean, it's probably a good addition, but that, I don't know.
Yes, that's
You buy it and you think you're getting a complete kit, which they call it a complete kit. And then you get to page 12 in the manual and they say, oh, by the way, we don't use this pigtail anymore. You have to go buy this choke.
Yeah, in 99% of the cases, you don't need it. I've got the same exact thing on my Hustler 5BTV. Without a choke, you've got radiation coming back on the outside of the coax.
right.
Well, 10 coils of coax, all cable tied up at the bottom of the antenna, makes a fine little choke, and it blocks that RF from coming back. You can do the same thing with those clip-on RF beads if you have them, but just coiling up coax will do the job. So what you're trying to do is build a longitudinal impedance to block the flow of that energy coming on the outside of the coax. And any kind of inductance you can throw in there will do that.
Well, they didn't even send the part, which was nothing more than a coax pigtail with a connector on it, which was the old, what they used to do. But now they don't even put that in the kit. So as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't a complete kit. It was
That tells me that the unbalanced to balanced conversion on that antenna is not quite what it should be.
Well, that's probably true.
If the balun was doing its job, you would have zero current flow on the coax. But with nothing but a pigtail, that's not really a legitimate balun. And a lot of people have the same problem. You've got to block off that RF. So there's actually a couple of designs we have in the club. One of them involves wrapping coax around a piece of 4 or 5 inch PVC and pigtailing it where it looks good, with a connector on each side and all of that. I had 20 foot extra coax right at the base of the antenna. I just coiled it up and cable tied it, and I've got zero RF coming back into the shack.
Good. Well, I'm sure this balun choke, is probably a good addition to the antenna, but I don't know. I was just a little PO'd about the whole deal, but they were really nice about it. I was really surprised. I got a phone call from them and a gift certificate. Didn't pay for the choke, but
well, considering that they sold the product originally with nothing but a pigtail, without any kind of choke, and now all of a sudden they claim they can't get the pigtail, but they had this choke instead. And by the way, it's going to cost you $200 for an RF choke. And then, to add insult to injury, it brings up the the argument of, do you really need the thing?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it jacked the price of the antenna up. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't have been so bad if they sent you a free choke, but they gave you a $50 gift certificate. That didn't quite do it.
That didn't quite cover it, no, but they were, at least they acknowledged the problem. They called me on the phone and apologized and tried to make some excuse about it. But what they need to do is go in and fix the advertising, at least on their online catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand the print catalog. They can't fix that until they print the new catalog, but they could fix the one on, their online catalog instantaneously. It wouldn't take them some got 10 minutes to do that.
Yeah, 10-minute edit on that.
Yeah, and then at least people would know and wouldn't be surprised. Oh well.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It's just.
I'm thinking the Hustler antenna has a footnote in there that says you're going to need some kind of a choke. It does the same thing. It comes with a couple of screw terminals at the bottom of the antenna, and you have to make a pigtail with a terminal lugs on the antenna end. That's Ken Duffy, is that right? I think he's the guy that owns the company.
I think his name is Ken. I don't know.
I think it's Ken Duffy.
He did
He lived in Edmond for a while.
Yeah, he said he lived in Oklahoma City for 15 years.
Edmund, I think.
I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did down here.
He got that house up in the Great Lakes next to the Cooper Contest Station.
Yeah.
I don't remember what town it's in.
Oh, by Lake Erie, right?
Yeah, it's south of Lake Erie. It's about 75 miles, I'd say, south of Lake Erie, right on the border.
Yeah, he's got like a multi station for contest.
Oh my God, he did a presentation on that, about a 30-minute presentation on what all he has there, and showed all the antennas and all the different rigs he's got, so they can do multi-operator. All they do is contests out of that thing.
Yeah.
They did
like 20 radios in there, which, by the way, were furnished by ICOM, donated to him by ICOM.
Oh, really?
And he's got an antenna on each one of them.
Yep.
You imagine how many antennas out there.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video out there about it.
Yeah. I watched that YouTube.
Peter sent it to me.
It's amazing. I mean, he's got some towers that are 225 foot tall, covered with antennas. I mean, he's got, some of them have multiple beams on them that he ties together some way.
I remember a picture of a 25G tower that was like 175 foot or something like that. And it's got like a 40-foot mast sticking up out of the top of it with 5 beam antennas.
I know he's got a couple of them in phase, a couple of beam antennas in phase.
Yes. Got to have a pretty good rotator to rotate all that.
Yeah, he uses some kind of a ring rotator.
I hope to hear him Saturday.
He rotates the whole tower, Bill.
But with the contesting going on this Saturday with the sweepstakes, I'm sure, I hope I get him.
You hope you what?
I said, I hope I get him this weekend.
Well, you'll have the opportunity, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, the sweepstakes is this weekend, so.
I remember a contest coming up, but I don't remember what it was about. What bands is it?
I believe it's 80 to 10, and it's sweepstakes, ARRL sweepstakes.
Yeah.
I know I'm participating, so
Is it all modes or,
no, it's just phone. 2 weeks ago they had CW.
so it's sideband this time or?
Yep, just sideband.
Well, each of those stations he showed has a big amplifier sitting beside it. He never did say, I guess they're probably max legal power amplifiers. But each of the stations had a,
Right, but they're not new. They're vintage. They're restored. So
yeah, they're tube type amps.
oh yeah.
But he said they're bulletproof, and they don't ever change the band on them. You know, each station is for a particular band, and I guess probably for a particular mode.
Well,
But-
that's the way to go if you can.
It
Kind
is.
of surprising for a field day contest, because I know they do more contests than just that. But what is field day limit? 150 watt?
Yes.
It's
Well,
it's down there at a level that you would not need an amplifier.
yeah, that's true. But like sweepstakes, you can have multi operator high power. You can have single operator high power, single operator low power. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they have different categories.
And he brings in about 20 to 25 people. They have a bunk room and a kitchen and
but I mean, if you're up 225 feet, I don't think you need an amplifier, really.
well, that's only one of its towers.
Well, no,
I
I'm just
don't know.
saying that at 225 feet, an amplifier ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right everywhere.
Just,
It'll go around the world and hit you back in the face. I mean,
Well, there's another 10 or 15 dB, you know.
well, maybe, but you know, if you have height, you really don't need an amplifier.
sure hate to climb that tower.
What's that?
I would hate to climb that tower.
No, I'm not doing it. I fall off.
He has a tower crew that works 3 days a week, every week on his tower systems.
Wow.
Full-time tower crew, huh?
Well, 3 days a week.
I didn't think there was that much money in ham radio.
Well, he's doing okay somehow, and I guess it's
Yeah.
selling stuff out of DX Engineering.
Yeah.
They opened a store recently, and it's in I don't know if you're familiar with Summit Racing, but they're a big mail order car race engine parts outfit, and the storefront is over in one corner of that Summit Racing.
Been there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Been there several times since they opened the DX Engineer. Well, I'm a car guy. I can walk into Summit Racing wanting absolutely nothing and walk out spending $250. So,
Yeah.
the DX Engineering room, I would guess it's probably, I don't think it's even 20 by 30. It might be that big. It's basically, and it might be bigger now. It's been a year or two since I've been there. But
Where's it at?
Talmadge, Ohio,
Okay.
east of Akron.
Do you know what's his connection to Summit?
I think they're cousins or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got the impression. I kind of looked at some names of who owned what, and there was some common last names.
It's
So
like Gaylord in Nashville.
There you go.
I think there's either a family thing or a buddy thing or something going on there. Because yeah, and their actual warehouse for DX Engineering. Now that I'm not saying that they're not stocking some stuff at Summit now too, but their actual factory / warehouse is probably 10 or 15 miles away, if that. If you look at the actual address. Yeah. No, I mean, I would say any of us, whether you're a car guy or not, could walk into Summit Racing and probably not walk out without buying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they got tools and connectors and
Yeah.
Like going to a Harbor Freight.
it's
Right.
kind of like going into Harbor
Definitely.
Freight. It's yeah, it's not as cheap as Harbor Freight, but yeah, there's lots of goodies in there. You know, I mean, even if you just walk out with a, you know, and they'll have, you know, it's kind of like some of these discount places are, and some it's not really a discount place, but they'll have things. Okay, they bought a whole truckload of something, so there'll be a whole table of car cleaning kits, or you know, a certain kind of car wax, or whatever, you know, whatever accessory that the accessory du jour. And
Even if you don't need it.
so well, Summit Racing went from 30 something years ago being basically a very small showroom, like the size of your typical small auto parts store that you would walk into, tell them what you wanted, and they bring it to you. Now it's just it's like going into Costco, and then the warehouse behind it is like 10 times the size of Costco.
Yeah, they're a big outfit.
Yeah. I'm a Northeast Ohio guy, so I grew up with Summit.
They sell a lot of racing parts.
Mm-hmm. I've spent probably a couple of grand there. Over my, oh yeah.
That's like those tool trucks that travel around that sell mechanics tools. You can't go into one of those tool trucks without finding something that you need.
Yeah, even if it's just a $20 something, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Mac, Mac Tools was one of them.
right.
Yeah, Mac and Snap-on.
Yeah, stay out of the Snap-on truck.
Snap-on, yeah.
Well, good
Boy,
luck
you
finding
better-
anything in a Snap-on truck for $20 anymore, but
I mean, you can't buy a screwdriver in there for less than probably $25. They're really expensive.
My son-in-law works for one of those companies, but I don't, he's a regional manager, but I don't know which company it is. It's, I don't think there is a Mac anymore. I think they merged with somebody else or something.
Okay. I don't know. My favorite tool place in Oklahoma City is, it used to be Meridian Tool. I'm trying to think what it is now, but it's still in the same location.
Yeah, it's out there on 59th.
Yeah, just out from the center.
59th and Penn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they still were Meridian Tool.
They changed the names slightly. I'm looking them up here.
There's a new company that's been advertising on TV called Whatchamacallit Tools. Advertising big tool showroom, one of everything you need.
That might be it. That might be it.
My problem is Amazon.
Yeah.
Yep.
You and my wife.
It's too easy.
Yeah, point and click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That damn van's here every day.
That's the way he designed it, to make it really easy.
I mean,
Yeah.
One click.
One
I
click.
tell my
buy.
wife that all the time. I'm like, you're lining Bezos's pocket. Now quit.
One click and it's at your doorstep the next day, man. That's unbelievable.
You know what she says, Ken? She's like, it was an Amazon something deal.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call it. But it was, I don't,
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but it was some kind of stupid deal.
Mm.
And she's
Yeah.
like,
They
"No,
have
let's
like
get it."
Amazon Prime Day every
Yeah.
so often.
And then she told you how much money she saved you, right?
Yeah.
Well, my contributions to the club is over $100.
Oh, mine too, Phil, through Amazon.
Amazon Smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I look to see, how much I've donated, and it mounts up.
Yeah, it does. I do the same thing, Phil, and I think we all should be doing it.
Especially, I buy all my groceries now that way online.
Well, yeah, so we're set up that way too. And my wife says that. She goes, "You know how much money we're donating to the club, so you just be quiet."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Phil, that whatchamacallit tools is the old Meridian tool. Yeah.
Is that the old Meridian?
Yeah, it's the same place. I was in there in December when I was out your way briefly. And yeah,
I haven't been in there in a long time.
I haven't
yeah, I
either.
picked up what I like is the fact that they got cheap stuff, but they also carry Klein and other good brands.
Yeah,
I probably hadn't been in there since Amazon came
Yeah.
along.
And I mean I picked up I haven't been able to find my circular saw since I moved into the house. I picked up a refurb circular saw for $20.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
Like you say, you can get the really good brands, and they're the only tool store around
Oh yeah.
that has a whole tray full of those little surgical instruments.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, and that refurb circular saw I got was one of the common brands. It wasn't, some unknown brand. I don't remember which brand it was. I think it was a Skill. I think it's a Skill. I mean, you can also walk in there and buy a $200 contractor quality circular saw if you want.
Yeah,
They got all kinds. Yeah, they got all kinds of goodies. They also have a usually fairly interesting collection of crimp terminals.
yeah.
What sort of terminals?
The old crimp on the wire terminals.
Oh, crimp on terminals?
Yeah, I mean, you can buy the standard cheapo crimp kit, but they'll have the little packets of like, you want a whole box of 5/16 rings for yellow, which is the larger size wire, and you can buy that for $1 or so.
Yeah, Ken and I used to be able to get the good terminals out at work.
Yeah. Well, that's always the best way to get them.
I've still got a little tray full of terminals, but you can't buy. I never have found a source for those really good ones.
No.
What were those, Amphenol or?
Yeah, Amphenol.
And
Make
they,
good stuff.
Well, for crimp terminals,
Yeah.
either Burndy or there's two brands for crimp terminals. But to really finish the job and do the job right, you've got to have a good tool to put them on with.
You're absolutely right. You've got to have the good crimpers.
Yeah, you can't just pound them with a hammer and a screwdriver and expect to get that kind of performance.
Yeah, I've been known to, and I know they don't usually recommend soldering those because it makes them brittle, but I have been known to stick the wire in a little flux before I put it in there and just put a little dab of solder on it.
Yeah,
Just to make sure it ain't coming out.
Yeah,
I solder a lot of them, Don.
yeah.
I don't care what they say.
Well, you don't want to run, you don't want the solder running back, 3 inches into the wire because that makes them brittle. Well, that's more for automotive applications where that's an issue. But yeah, just a little dab will do you. But yeah, no, that's the place because I'm looking at looking at it on Google on the Street View. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I got out of there for less than $100 in December either. That's what you call it, tools.
Yeah.
Well, that place has been there a long time.
Oh yeah, no, it's Yeah. And we don't really have anything like that around here. We've got a Northern Tool that's probably a good 20, 30 minutes away. And despite the fact that I'm in a very populous area, and we have a Harbor Freight, but we have nothing like that, nothing, locally owned that I'm aware of.
We had a Northern Tool in Oklahoma City for a while. And as a matter of fact, I bought a drill press, but I don't think it's there anymore. Harbor
Yeah.
Freight probably running out of business.
I thought that Northern Tool was still there in December.
Was it?
Yeah, Northern Tool is down on I-240, Ken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
240 in Penn.
Yeah,
that
they're-
shopping mall.
They're still there.
Is it still
Yeah,
there?
I say I was there in
Well-
December. I thought I was there in December as
Well,
well.
good, because someone told me it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
unless,
there's that
unless
that
it just
kind of weird
closed.
I can't think of the name of it. Electronics place that's next to it. They're more cell phone now than they are computer, but they used to do a lot of computer stuff as well.
Yeah, I know where that place is at.
CESR or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Hadn't been in there in years, but
Yeah. You know, that was always kind of my go-to place when I'd come down there and I needed a mouse or a keyboard or something, because they always had they used to carry a lot of surplus stuff.
Yeah, I think one of their main businesses is buying and selling used cell phones.
Yeah, that seems to be what they're doing now.
Take your old cell phone in and they'll give you $10 for it and then turn around and sell it for 150 or something like that.
Yeah,
I take the cell
it's called
phone.
capitalism, man.
Yeah.
AT&T gave me a phone and then converted me to 5G. So I took the phone into the phone store and I said, is this a good replacement for what I've got? And the guy said, no, it's a piece of junk. I said, well, can I send it back to AT&T? And he said, no, they don't want it. Just throw it in the trash.
So Ken, you got that 9700 up?
yep, it's decoding a signal off the moon.
There you go.
And I worked a couple of stations in Kansas today on 2 meters. But it wasn't with the microphone. It was a digital mode.
Of course.
Well, we got a eclipse coming up Thursday night.
Yeah,
Be set up pointed at the moon. You should be able to work all kind of stations.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, CDR electronics. That's what I was thinking of.
That's it. Yeah, I remember now.
Close to next Northern Tool. Yeah. There used to be a decent Chinese buffet right out there too, not that general way.
They're down the road from them.
Yeah. It was up
I think
Up
they're
near-
on Walker or
up near
something.
74th, but down the road one way or the other.
Yeah.
Now, I still get advertising on the internet from Northern Tool.
Oh yeah.
I used to get their catalog, but I wasn't buying enough from them, so they quit mailing me the catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that they seem to carry. I bought a used utility trailer, and the guy told me it needed either new bearings or at least bearings repacked, and that was a year ago, so it probably needs new bearings now.
Yeah.
And if it's sat that long, and I like that they carry that stuff. But I found out I've got a local farm and home supply that carries that stuff too, so it should be good.
If you ever need anything for a pressure washer, they've got it too. They've got,
Yeah, so does my. We have a chain called Rural King that's up here, up kind of my way, and they only just opened it. This one here in West Indy, probably 3-4 months ago, and but yeah, it's kind of like stuff that Tractor Supply has plus.
Yeah.
So been happy. Hey guys, I think I'm gonna can it for the night. Sarah's already wanting to go to bed. It's we're an hour later here, so
Okay, Don.
I gotta be up semi early in the morning, guys. But
Good.
it's good to see you. I'll try to be a little better about checking in.
Good talking to you.
Good night.
7-3.
Thanks, guys. Take care. See ya.
Take care.
Bye, Phil.
I'm gonna have to get out of here and get over on the Aries net.
Well, I see my tracking program is still tracking the moon, so it's like I'm staying right on target.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about maybe putting some guy wires on my self-supporting tower.
Yeah.
And what do you use for anchors? Ground anchors.
Depends on how big the tower is. How much anchor do you need?
Well, supposedly I don't need any, but
I've
the
seen
guy,
them. I've seen them as small as a simple drive-in fence post.
Well, I tell you what mine are, Bill. Mine are 4-inch diameter drill stem full of cement.
wow,
And
So
they're
how deep? How deep?
down in the ground about 4 feet. And they have a brace that's also into the ground. It's a sucker rod that's welded at an angle. And the bottom of the brace is an L shape, and the sucker rod comes from the top down to that one, and all that stuff is sitting in about 3/4 of a yard of cement. Might be a little overkill for you.
That ought to do it.
yeah, you got 2,500 pounds of cement.
Yep.
I've been looking, they have all kinds of commercial anchors that they sell. One of the most interesting ones looks like a gigantic screw that's 40, they've got a 36-inch and a 45-inch or something like that. I don't know.
Why don't you just for its diameter for what you're trying to do, you could just put some maybe 2.5-inch pipe in cement and put it where it sticks up out of the ground far enough that when you hook the guy wires on it, it'll be far enough up in the air you won't hit your head on it when you mow around it. In other words, probably at least 5 feet up.
Is that what you did? Did you put yours up? Like
Yeah, they're up high enough. Mine has steel guy wires, but it doesn't matter what you use. Your post needs to stick up in the air, and it needs to be. It's not going to do you any good if it pulls it over. So you got to put it in concrete. But on my 630 meter, 60-foot antenna back there, I used treated 6x6 wooden posts from Lowe's sitting in concrete, and they were I think it was 6x6 by 8. I don't remember if they were 8 foot or what, and I got them down in the ground. They must be 10-footers because they're in the ground pretty deep, and they've been there. It's treated 4x4s, and they've been there for about 10 years, and they're solid as a rock. But you might be able to buy a steel post as cheap as you can buy a treated 6x6 nowadays.
Yeah.
Price of lumber.
Well, that's a good point. Although
Especially if you go to a pipe
steel
yard.
has gone up too. I mean, that steel pipe is not cheap anymore. Even the used pipe is high.
Yeah. Well, that's all you need is some used 2.5-inch pipe.
I had
That'll last you forever if you do that, and you won't have to worry about your tower blowing over. And someday you might want to put a bigger antenna up there than a hex beam.
Well, that was kind of the idea, that I thought I might want to put some, extend the mast some and put some additional antennas up
Yeah,
there.
You might
or
want to
additional-
put a 2-meter Yagi or something up there.
Guys, I gotta go do the net. 7-3.
7-3,
ya.
Phil.
Good night.
I'll be with you guys in a minute.
All right, I'll see if I can show you the antenna, John, or the radio, John, if this don't make you guys dizzy or drunk. So there's a computer screen that's got the program on it to do the moon bout stuff. There's the radio. Right above it is a monitor for the camera that I have out on the moon bounce tower. And you can see my crosshairs is pretty close to the moon there. So it's
So-
automatically tracking it.
So if the moon's behind the crosshairs, your antenna's lined up, is it?
Yep.
Ah, cool.
So I can tell if my tracker's working by that little dot there, which is the moon. And that's about it. But there's the radio, and it appears to be okay. And right underneath it there is a GPS.
A what?
A GPS. See that little box underneath it?
Yeah, what is that?
That's a GPS satellite. It keeps the radio on frequency.
Oh, okay.
No drift. And there is John right there. Okay.
All right, I checked in.
Do what?
Oh, I was checking out on the net there.
Oh, you checked in?
Yep,
You did your duty.
I did my duty. You don't have microphone though, so you can't check in. So
Right. I don't have it programmed in this one anyway.
I expect to hear you on to do some contesting this weekend. Now, come on.
Well, I might, I've got my, my K3 station all tore apart right now. And this new radio is only, VHF, UHF.
So what do you do with your K3 station?
I do all bands,
Do what now?
all bands.
No. But you said you had it all tore apart. Why?
But I'm moving the K3 station from here where I have this 7300 that I just showed you. All of my K3 stuff was there. I'm moving it across the room at the other station.
Okay.
I have
So
two
you're
stations.
moving it to my house, is what you're saying. No, I'm kidding.
I'm moving. See, I had 2 K3s and I sold one of them. And so since I bought this ICOM for VHF and UHF, I'm going to move the K3 station over there, and I got it. I took it apart. Man, a lot of wires.
Yeah, I hate moving stuff. Oh,
That's going to take me a week to get it all back together.
a whole
Yeah, we're
week?
talking about moving stuff. We're talking about having the house recarpeted, and I keep dragging my feet.
That's the problem with this hammering. It needs to be recarpeted, but it'd be a nightmare to move all this crap out of here.
Yeah,
Man, I hate that. I hate recarpeting.
yeah.
I want floors.
I'm not going to put carpet in here. We're going to put tile floor.
Yeah, I have the carpet a week and the kids tear it up. If you
Yeah, we're
go,
gonna put a tile floor in here, be a lot better than this carpet.
you know, I had my downstairs where it's floor. I didn't put carpet back down there. that was just no.
The only good thing about carpet, it is sound deadening. It,
Yeah,
cuts down on the
a
echo.
little warmer on the feet too.
Yeah, well, it's not easier on the pocketbook when you got grape juice and people
Yeah.
slinging stuff and
But you've got kids though, and if I do it, it's my own fault. If I spill stuff.
no. I get new carpet. Within an hour of it being installed, there's a stain.
Yeah.
It happens every time we get it cleaned too. Just like, come on.
So what kind of computer did you buy, Bill? You bought a new computer?
No, it's not new. I've had it, a little less than a year, still under warranty. I had some problems with it here not too long ago. It's an ABS. It's a system that, what's the name of that company that puts those together?
I've heard of it before.
It's got all the, it's a pretty good computer. It's got a i7 processor and a 3070
Yeah.
video card in it.
I build my own computers and I use Intel stuff. Intel processor is the only way to go. I have i7 in this computer right here.
Yeah, it's blazingly fast.
Yeah. I built this one a few years ago. I got hit by lightning.
Oh,
And
ouch.
insurance company bought me some new computer, give me money for computers. So I built my own, as I always do.
I used to do that, but I was looking up when I got ready for a new one. I was looking up the prices of the stuff and adding it all up, and I could buy the thing fully assembled from them with a warranty on it for about what the parts were going to cost me.
I can build my homemade computers might cost more than a store-bought one, but they're much better speed and memory and that's why I don't like a laptop. You can't upgrade it.
No, you can't
3 or
do
4
that.
years a laptop is obsolete.
Yeah.
We got several of them around here that slow as a 7-year itch compared to this i7.
Yeah, that's what I had been doing the Zoom meetings on was my laptop, which is several years old, and so I got a little camera and stuck up on the monitor of this computer, and
Is it a USB camera?
it is, yeah, it's just a little Logitech. It's nothing special, but I'm sure it's probably better than the camera that was in that laptop.
Like mine.
What kind of camera are you using, John?
Oh, I don't know. I've had this laptop for about 7 years.
It's just a camera that's in the laptop?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well, doing all right.
But I don't do any of that digital stuff, so I don't need a computer.
Yeah.
I had one out here that I gave away. Oh, and I was running an SDR on it. Let's see, it's right here. I haven't plugged it in, but I was running this little thing to it.
Yeah.
Little dongle to an antenna up in a tree.
Yeah.
But
laptop was too slow for it or what?
No, they needed it. They needed a new. So my kids destroyed the computer that I got them somehow. So I got a 3-year-old, right? And she's very handsy.
Yeah.
And we bought a new laptop for school, but she ripped the keys out of the keyboard.
Wow.
She got left alone with it for about 20 seconds.
Yeah. Them kids
That's all
can
you need.
figure out a way.
Yeah, that was the end of that. And then somehow the screen got stepped on. Well, I don't know how that happened. So anyway, I had another computer that's on my QRZ page that I moved inside that they use, and it's a desktop. And that way nobody can move it. It sits in one desk in the living room there,
Yeah.
and that's the one they use. So
Sounds like you solved the problem anyway.
yeah, well, I don't like them being on the internet without somebody being able to walk in there and
Yeah.
monitor
Got
what
it.
they're doing.
How old are they?
I have 11, 9, 7, and 3.
You got a full house.
Yeah, and so idle hands and idle eyes, they drift.
Yeah. I've got 2 boys and 2 girls.
Okay. Yeah, I got 3 girls and 1 boy.
Poor boy.
Well, I'm the youngest of 13, so
Yeah.
Wow, really? 13?
yeah.
Mercy.
My oldest brother is 61. Oh, 62 in June. Well, last June.
My wife came from a big family like that, John.
Yeah. It was,
I only had 1 brother, and he passed away a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, no, my older brother, he lives in Bellevue, Nebraska. Yeah, my other brother, he lives there with him, not with him, but the same town, and he's got 5 girls.
Yeah. I had an uncle that had 5 girls, and I remember they was big enough to drive, and I asked him what he did in his spare time. He said, work on them damn cars.
I used to say the same thing to my dad with the girls. I said, hey, tell me the story about whenever she did this or she did that. And he used to say, I don't want to talk about that. Because I thought it was hilarious. He didn't at all. He didn't see the humor in hitting somebody's mailbox or
Yeah.
not going to get the oil change when he said, go get the oil change.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Bill, sounds like you're coming along pretty good on your setup over there.
Well, it's just slow. I don't have, I have a kind of a low energy problem. And if I work one day, for pretty hard, then I'm down for a few days after that.
It's supposed to be windy tomorrow. That's why I got my tower work done today.
How far did you go up that tower, Ken?
Well, it's a short tower. I was up there maybe 25 feet, something like that.
So, Bill, by January 1st, you should be on the air, right?
I'm not promising anything.
You should be on before then.
Yeah, I've got a ditch witch, and I've got it out, and I've got a ditch back to where I ended up putting that tower. I've got about 130 foot of
For your coax.
pipe to bury for the coax.
I know I meant to tell you something and I forgot. You asked me, I don't know if it was last week or when, about lightning arresters. And I told you I didn't have any, but I never did answer your question. You want to know where to put it. And since your coax is going to be buried, I would put that lightning arrestor out there at the bottom of your tower. And that way, because your coax is not out where lightning can hit it, it's going to be underground.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're going to put a lightning arrestor anywhere, put it out there. I don't use lightning arresters. I don't feel like they're worth a crap. How much voltage does it take to burn out a lightning arrestor? By that time, the input of your radio is already burned up. So I unhook my antennas during electrical storms.
That's probably a good idea. I saw plans for one that was a homebrew deal that had relays in it, and it shorted the antenna inputs to ground when you weren't using it, and had some
Well, okay, I'll tell you about that. if lightning can jump from the sky to the ground, it'll jump across that relay. It'll
Well,
burn that relay up and still burn up your radio.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you get it, if you get a direct hit,
You get a direct hit there.
there's nothing gonna
do.
save you.
Yeah.
It'll melt that aluminum tower.
Whenever I got the lightning strike here, it came in through the phone line. I told you this, told this on here before. I don't know if you was here. Had underground phone line come into the house, and the side of the house, the box is there. And when I got up the next morning, my internet wouldn't work. I went outside to see what was going on. And that box was clear across 20, 30 feet away from my house. Blew that box clear off the wall and burned up all of my home internet stuff, which was consisted of 5 or 6 computers, home theaters. I had a wire going from a router to the TV in the living room, and it burnt that wire up and welded the end of that wire into the back of the TV set.
Oh, good grief.
Plus burn up the microwave, the dishwasher. You just can't believe.
Yeah, I can believe it. That happened to a neighbor.
My radios were unhooked from the antennas. It did not get my radios. It got a couple of power supplies, things like that. Computers fried, man. But
That happened to me too, Ken.
huh?
That happened to me too. I had a couple of DVRs, and man, you could smell them.
Yeah.
They just burnt all the hell in the router and everything, and they didn't have that thing grounded at all at the box.
Let me tell you that after I got cable, underground cable now, but whenever after that happened, I went out and checked that box for that underground phone line. That sucker wasn't even grounded.
Right.
There was no ground there. This cable company's got a good ground set up on it.
Yeah, this happened in 2016. We had a really bad electrical storm, and I just remember I was like, "Why does it smell like something's burning in here?" And it was those DVRs. The lightning came through the coax of the cable TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it burned up computers, TV.
Yeah.
And
you can only do so much, and if it's going to get you, it's going to get you.
no, it got 3 TVs, the 2 DVRs, the router.
Yeah.
They came out and replaced it all.
Yep, they got my microwave and dishwasher. The insurance company, I just made a list and they paid me cash, and so I ordered new stuff.
What's funny is Cox didn't believe me when it happened. I was like, "Well, come out and see your DVR."
Yeah.
Thing was fried.
Well, that happened to a friend of mine just 3 doors down where we used to live in Oklahoma City, and it hit his roof and broke 2x6 roof joist and jumped down and hit a piece of Romex.
Wow.
And it went through the whole house on the Romex.
Yep.
It burned up every piece of electronic gear he had in the house.
He had a bigger cost than I did. They paid me about a little over $7,000 for my damage, but that's probably nothing compared to his.
Boy, they were real turds about it too. They made him every piece of equipment that was burned up from lightning. They made him either take it to a technician or have a technician come out and certify that it was actually fried.
I didn't have that problem at all.
Was that insurance or Cox?
I'm sorry?
Who made them do that? The insurance company?
The insurance company, his homeowner's insurance company.
Really?
I didn't have to
I would have dropped them.
I would have dumped them.
Yeah.
No.
They didn't even come out at my house. They just took my word for whatever I said.
That's what I'm saying. I just made a phone call and they were like, "Yeah, we got you covered."
Yeah, well, they didn't come out to his house either, but they made him do all that work. And it took him weeks to get.
What insurance company was it?
I don't know, but
I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I don't remember. It's probably Allstate or something. I'm not sure.
I have Farm Bureau Insurance Company for 40 years.
I've had State Farm for over 50 years, and I tell you that they've really been good company to deal with. I really like them.
I use Farmers.
Who?
Farmers.
Farmers? Yeah, I can't complain on the insurance company, but I don't hardly ever have any claims, but
No. But this was like a freak thing that happened. I mean, this had never happened before.
they've replaced my roof a couple times, and that
Yeah.
lightning strike was it. And haven't had a wreck in 30.
As a matter of fact, with this last hailstorm, they called me and sent out an adjuster
Yeah.
to look at the roof, which we didn't have no hail where I was. So
I have some of those Elk Prestige 40-year shingles. Last time they replaced my roof, I had them put those Elk Prestige 40-year shingles on. And a couple of years later, we had a pretty good sized hailstorm, and my neighbor across the street had to have his whole roof replaced, and you couldn't even find one ding on my roof.
Really?
So it pays to do it. I had a dent in my mailbox that looked like a baseball hit that thing.
Yeah, hail driven by high winds can really do a lot of damage.
That dent is still in there.
well, if you saw that hail damage, I think it was earlier this summer over in North Norman. I mean, it looked like that Crest grocery store had been peppered by like rock. And
Yeah, they got hit twice there in Norman.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this HF antenna.
Oh, there's your
Yeah,
HF antenna. Okay.
There's my 40-meter antenna.
Yeah,
Go ahead and load her up.
that might work on 6 meters.
It might.
Well,
If you can get it
I
up
was
there
thinking
high.
about that it might work.
Hey, does that antenna you have, does it go to 6 meters?
The transceiver? Yeah.
No, your antenna.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a 6-meter loop on it. The
6
other one
meters.
that I had intended to buy did have a 6-meter loop on it.
It's got 10 meters on it though, don't it?
Go smart.
Yeah. 10 and all the bands between 10 and 20.
10 and 40 or 80. To go
No,
down.
it doesn't have a 40 or an 80.
Okay.
They do have a version of that thing. Somebody does that has a 40-meter, but boy, it's huge.
Yeah.
This thing is 22 foot across. It's 11 foot turning radius.
You can build your own 40-meter dipole.
Yeah. Yeah, I got plenty
He
of
don't
trees.
need it. He's waiting on a tower. He ain't gonna do it until his
Yeah,
tower
his
comes out.
no, but his hex beam doesn't have 40 meters on it.
Oh.
So
What
that's
does your XP cover?
20 through 10
all the bands in between.
and all the warp bands.
Yeah.
So no,
Which
no
is
nighttime bands.
20, 15, 17, 12, 10.
Yeah, it covers 5 bands.
And you know how to build John, didn't you offer to fix him up with an antenna one time?
I got one sitting right here, but he don't want it.
Well, it's just the thing about it is the time that I've got and the energy that I've got, I need to try to get my project done. And
Yeah, I understand.
Let's
And
see,
if I
it'll take
put
me about 12 minutes to hang it up in a tree.
yeah, but I've got to drill a hole through the wall and
But you're gonna have to do that anyway.
yeah, eventually. Got to drill a hole and get some conduit through the
Unless you got a
wall.
wife like mine who tells me I ain't drilling a hole nowhere, get your ass out the garage.
Well, you've got a hole somewhere. You got to get
Oh
coax.
no, actually I run it underneath the door.
Oh, under the,
The way I feel about drilling a hole in a brick wall, I can always patch that sucker.
oh yeah.
I got lots of spare bricks around here for leftovers when the house was built. And
I don't know. You start talking about drilling and they just get all crazy.
don't tell them, you just go do it.
What are you doing? Oh, I don't know. Go to the beauty shop.
Say, man, them termites has been hell lately.
I had a buddy who couldn't get tower piece through his back gate, and he sent his wife to the beauty shop for the day and set her all up and brought that thing through the house, through
Yeah.
the back door. He took pictures that showed me. You know, it's a big joke now, but it was pretty funny.
Shoot, I'd have took the fence down.
Well, I don't think they couldn't turn it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't know. It was like a 10 or 20 feet section. So he, I guess his front door went right to the back and you could just carry it through the house. Of course, you know, start talking about the rug and the couch. Here we go.
These Roan Tower sections that I use are 10-foot sections. They're not too bad to work
Yeah.
with.
I know he brought a few of them through. I thought it was funny. Yeah. Hold on.
So Ken, that new radio covers just VHF?
Yeah, VHF and UHF. It's 2 meters, 440, which they call 70 centimeters, and 1296, which is 23 centimeters. But it's just for VHF and UHF,
Wow.
and it's got a final amplifier for each band, and an
Oh, really?
antenna port for each band.
Huh.
It's pretty, it has a problem. It has a drift problem, and that's why I am going to hook up a GPS to it. I don't have it hooked up yet, but I got everything I need to do it. And for digital mode, like moon bounce, your transceiver cannot drift. It has to be rock solid. Some of these digital modes are pretty narrow, and you can't go drifting around.
Now, are you talking about frequency drift?
Frequency drift, yes.
Well, how does GPS help that?
GPS puts a reference, so you get 10 megahertz signal off the GPS.
Okay. Well,
And
you kind of use it as a master oscillator then, huh?
well, yeah, and that's what I'm going to do on this. I'm going to set the GPS frequency the same as the master oscillator on the radio, and that's what I do on my transverters, my Elecraft transverters. I have GPS that actually replaces the crystal oscillator in them.
Really?
So I'm rock solid, man. I don't drift. And then the K3 has a 10 megahertz GPS hooked to it to make it rock solid.
Huh.
You guys gonna be here for a few more minutes?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta go put a kid to bed. I'll be back.
Okay. So, yep.
So was that little box you were showing me down underneath? Is
Yeah,
that
that's the GPS.
okay.
It's got an antenna on it, picks up, I don't know, 8 or 10 satellites.
Outdoor antenna?
No, it's an indoor antenna.
Really?
A little old bitty square box.
Huh.
About the size of a matchbox is the antenna.
And then do you have to have some kind of a kit or something to tie that into the radio or?
Yeah, I've got a mod. I have to modify my new radio.
But they've already worked it out. You just
Yeah,
have-
it's already done. I bought the it's a little circuit board. I bought it from the same people that sell the GPS.
I see. Okay.
And I bought it, it came from Europe, and I ordered it before I ordered the 7300, and I got it a week before I got the 7300. Came from Europe.
Huh.
So I was sitting here waiting for the radio to get here, and I already had the GPS, which came from the same company.
Well, the one thing that came real quick was the radio, which was the last thing I needed really, but I ordered it one day
Yeah.
and they delivered the next morning.
Yeah, they didn't have any in stock when I ordered.
I-
They said it was going to be, I think they said the 15th, and I got it yesterday and got it up and working on digital mode pretty quick. Still a lot of stuff I don't know about it. So take me forever to learn all that stuff. Got a bunch of menus.
Tell me about it. I've got a lot to learn about this radio. I can tell you for sure.
I just learned enough to get it up and running where I could do some digital mode stuff and copy some signals off the moon. I can't transmit yet because I'm going to have to modify my mass mount preamp, which I had it designed to work with an Elecraft transverter, and which
Now, is that the interface box that goes into the input of your computer, ties the radio to the computer?
No, I have a mass mount preamp, which is a preamplifier that goes up at the antenna,
Oh, okay.
and it's got relays up there to switch from transmit to receive.
Oh, okay.
And it has I have a sequencer in here, and what you do, the computer keys the sequencer, and the sequencer switches the relays for everything at the right time, because you don't want to transmit into your receive amplifier that's up on the tower. Follow me?
Yep.
So you have to switch it out, and I have a homemade box up there that I and relays, coax relays, and when I switch the preamp out, I switch the input and the output of that preamp to 50 ohm load, so RF can't get into it. I'll show you one of the relays. This is that's a coax relay. So it's
All
got
right. Okay.
N connectors.
Yep. Yep.
It's a single pole, double throw. I also have one that's about twice that thick. It's a double pole, double throw. And this one here, I'm going to have to add up there to make that my mass mount preamp work with this transceiver, which is a little bit harder to do than the way Elecraft does it. But I can do it.
So what's the device you have between your computer and your radio that?
On this, none. The USB cable connects them together.
Okay, so I guess maybe my radio is the same. It's
Yeah,
got
I'm sure it is. Most all the new radios do that. I've got one USB cable that goes from the back of the radio to the computer, and that one cable will do cat control, which means the computer can control the transceiver. You can change frequencies from the computer. And also it keys the transmitter, and also the audio goes over that too for digital mode. So the
Okay,
computer generates the tones and sends it to the audio input on the transceiver.
So what software will I need?
Well, it depends on what you want to do, but the software to run the FT8 and all of this moon bounce software and a bunch of other stuff is called WSJTX, and it is written by Joe Taylor, which is he's retired now, but he was the head honcho at Princeton, and he is a Nobel Prize winner. He studied quasars. He was an radio astro, and a ham operator. And this software was originally designed to do radio astronomy. And him
Okay.
being a ham, he modified it for hams and gave it to us free. And he's a heck of a nice guy. I've talked to him several times on ham radio, and I've been a beta tester on a lot of his software, so I've got to know him pretty good over the years.
So can you just download it?
Yes,
him
it's
for
free. It's
Huh?
free. All you have to do is probably Google WSJTX, and to make sure you have the right URL, it will tell you that it's Princeton University.
Okay. Well, I won't need it right away, but it's good
You
to
can
know.
download it and look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure
Uh,
could.
I can't, I can't put it up to show you here on the screen. I can hold my camera over there, but You've seen that a while ago, but I don't know if you could see much or not. I've got a program running that does the antenna tracking. And then we have a chat page that EME guys, the Moonbounce guys, get on and make schedules with each other and stuff like that.
Cool.
But the FT8, you know, I got on that last VHF contest, and I was using a transverter with no amplifier on 2 meters. I was running 10 watts into a single 11 element Yagi, and I worked Sunday morning of that from about 8 to 11. I worked 20 stations and 8 of them, 8 states. Furthest away was North Carolina on 2 meters,
2
running
meter
10 watts.
moon bounce.
No,
No.
not moon bounce.
Oh,
Skip, bounce off the ionosphere.
oh, okay. It was one of the digital modes though, right?
Digital mode, FT8.
Oh, okay, FT8. Okay, gotcha.
And today, whenever I got this thing working, I contacted 2 stations in Kansas on 2 meters, FT8. One guy was in Wichita, and can't remember where the other one was. But I was glad to see the thing working. That meant I had everything configured correctly to do that. It's pretty nice to these newer radios. They this USB have a whole lot less cables going from the radio to the computer. I've got one cable going to the computer, one cable going to the power supply, and one cable going to the antenna.
Well, things changed a lot in 60 years or 55 or whatever it is since I've been involved. Completely changed.
FT8,
Well, John, I remember whenever the old guys said that about single sideband.
I know.
Single sideband.
But you
Oh
know,
yeah, the AM guys hated single sideband back when I was.
Yeah.
RTTY has kind of gone away though, right?
I
I'm
wish
sorry?
it would go away, John. Whenever they have a RTTY contest, those guys are everywhere. You couldn't do CW or anything. I mean, they're from the bottom of the band clear up to into the phone band. And the signal is so wide.
Yeah, it
And
takes
they
up a
lap
lot of
over each
bandwidth.
other. They lap over each other, and neither one of them could copy anything, except the guy with the highest power.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
So see these digital modes that we use nowadays are supposed to be weak signal modes. You don't need an amplifier.
Yeah, you don't even need 100 watts, do you? 5 or 10 watts or something like that.
Yeah, you don't need much power. Although they're running more power than that on FT8.
Do you have an amp of some sort, Kim?
I've had amps over the years. I don't have one now. I sold my last amp. I had a kilowatt Yaesu amplifier and had a 1.2 kW M squared amplifier for a 2 meter moon bounce. For what I'm doing now, I don't need them. I have one amplifier now for 432 for moon bounce, and it's only I think it's 180 watts. Which the good thing about using an amplifier on moon bounce is my transceiver will only need to run about 20 watts to get all the power that that amplifier will run, which means my transceiver is running idling along, not working hard. The outboard amplifier is doing all the work.
Real quick about FT8, it's just a short exchange, isn't it?
It's a what?
A short exchange.
Yeah, it's grid square, signal report, and call signs.
And then you're done.
But there's other modes that you can chat in, other digital modes.
I would like you to come on here and demonstrate fast scan TV.
Fast scan TV, I've done that before years ago. As a matter of fact, in about 1962, I built a TV transmitter, and the transmitter, the amplifier was a pair of 6J6s in push-pull, and they run about a watt of video on 432 megahertz. And for the receiver, I took a TV converter and modified it. Channel 14 is just right above the 432 megahertz band. So I modified it so it would go down lower for a receiver. And me and a guy about 10 miles away could have live video talking to each other. I had a 1-inch Vidicon. That's the tube was that big around.
Wow.
The Vidicon.
And you had to have a bright light, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think there's anything for FT8, except for the exchange and all that. There's really nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what it is, and FT8 hadn't been around too long.
No.
And what it is a fast way to make contacts.
Yeah.
And if you want to chit chat, then you get on sideband or Zoom like we're doing. So you should be against Zoom too, John.
Oh, come on. No, I think it's fascinating whenever, for instance, I talked to Switzerland today.
Yeah.
And I'm just got a wire in a tree, not putting out any wattage, being able to talk to him, man, that just blows me away.
But John, I've been there, done that.
No, I know, but I tried the digital junk and I just can't get into it.
Well,
it's almost as, I asked somebody about it one time. They said it's like watching paint dry.
well, okay, here's a digital mode that, moon bounce that's pretty much worthwhile. It's a digital mode, but your contact is 500,000 miles. Think about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt. I think it's wonderful.
And
but,
another thing that is really fun to do, and it's digital mode, and that's meteor scatter.
Yeah.
But if you want to do something fun that uses sideband, you can work some of the satellites. That's a blast working them satellites.
Yeah, no. I have done that. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, what was it? A few years ago, I built, I forgot what it was. Oh, who was it? There was a school that had videos on this on YouTube, how to make contact with satellites on 2 meters, I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's 2 meter. It's a split. 2 meter. 2 meter 440. 2 meter 440 down or 440 up, 2 meter down, depending on what the satellite does. But I've done that before. And this new radio that I've got is capable of doing it again. So once I get all these menus figured out, about 100 of them in there,
right,
that I might, and get everything else working, I may try to do some satellite work. I've got the antennas to do it, and you don't need hardly any power to work satellites.
So what are you going to do with the K3 station? Is it going to be for voice or what?
It's going to be for HF 160 through 6.
Okay.
Voice
sideband
and digital modes.
Okay.
And CW.
And what are you talking about now?
The K3.
What's the K3?
It's an Elecraft K3 transceiver.
Yeah.
Is that something new or something you've had?
No, he's had it already.
It's not new. No, I had 2 of them. I sold one of them about, I don't know, a year ago. I was gonna buy a K4 and they're still dribbling them out. So I
It's
gave up
terrible.
on them. I gave up on them. They're too expensive anyway. Uh, the K4 is about $5,000, I guess.
Whoa.
But
Yeah, but you got to put like $2,000 down, and they haven't even done the first wave of shipping yet.
well, there's been a few of them shipped out, probably a couple hundred. But I'm tired of messing with them. I sold my other K3, which I really like having two K3 setups. I sold mine to a ham here in Shawnee for $2,000, and it was 8 years old. Tell you how they hold their resale value.
Wow.
But and thinking that I was going to get a K4 in a few months.
Now-
It's not happening. So
Now you're going to have a way to hook up your pan adapter over there, right?
yeah, I have a pan adapter.
Yeah, so you're going to have a different screen over there.
Do what?
So you're going to have a different screen on the other side of your shack.
Oh, I have a whole computer over there, but
Oh, okay, I didn't know
I
that.
have a pan adapter over there. too.
What is a pan adapter?
Pan adapter is it's a little box. It's got a waterfall on it, and you can see the signals on it. And if you're working a contest, a lot of times the contest works split. The guy in some remote island somewhere is on some frequency transmitting, but you don't transmit on his frequency. You transmit down 5 or 20 kilohertz, and he listens down there for you. And that keeps people from transmitting on top of him while he's trying to work somebody, but they do it anyway. That's why I quit contesting. It's just a nightmare when you get people on there that are rude and transmit on the DX station's frequency and all that crap. So I got tired of that stuff. But that's what that little box does. And if you're working contests, it's really nice because you can see where a clear frequency is, and you use split VFO. One VFO transmits and one receives. So you can tune your second VFO to a clear spot down there. And then when he gets through working somebody, you can jump right in there quick. And he's listening down in that area. So a lot of times you have to call 20, 30 times before he hears you. But if it's a rare station, people do it. And that's what them contesters do. Them contest stations, like they were talking about earlier, where those guys have 250-foot towers and 1,500-watt amplifiers. And then here, I'm over here trying to do it with 100 watts and a tri-bander 30, 40, 50 feet in the air. And if you're a wire antenna, you're just shit out of luck.
Well, we'll
Well,
see how
guys,
it
I
goes.
think I'm about ready to hang it up. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. You about talked my leg off tonight.
Me too. Well, I had a lot of stupid questions to ask.
Well, I
No
didn't
such
hear
thing.
any. I didn't hear any stupid questions,
No such thing as a stupid question.
but I did get to talk to Dave tonight.
Yeah.
You know, he was stationed in Hawaii in a signal corps in the Navy.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if he was there whenever I came through coming back from Guam or not, but I got discharged in 1960, and I know he was there in 1962. But anyway,
Ken, before you go, what did you do? You were in the Air Force, right?
I was an airborne radio operator,
In the Army or the Air Force?
Air Force,
Okay. What year did you serve?
from 1956 to 60.
So that was about, my dad served the same time, and he was a radio operator in Scotland.
Well, I'll be darned. Yeah,
And he spent his entire time listening to the Ruskies.
yeah. Well,
So-
we had the Chinese was jamming our HF airway stations. They would jam it the same time every day. So we would just change frequencies before they start jamming it. Can't imagine them being that stupid.
Yeah. That was interesting. He told me all those stories about being in the radio room, and you better not get caught listening to the radio.
I had, well, if you go to my, go to my webpage.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's me sitting in a secure site on Guam.
Okay.
And that was after my aircraft got shot down in Cambodia. And after that, I had about a year to go, and I did ground radio after that. But I worked in that secure room where we sent messages.
You said, what about Cambodia?
Huh?
What about Cambodia?
We this was before the Vietnam War, and we took some airborne 82nd Airborne guys in, and they jumped out at real low altitude. I don't know what their mission was, but they seemed to think it was to rescue somebody. But anyway, coming out of Cambodia, the Chinese shot our aircraft up pretty good, and we landed. We was pretty close to the South Vietnam border when they shot us up, but we couldn't. The left landing gear wouldn't lower, so we had 2 or 3 airstrips picked out that we was going to land in if we had problems. But we landed in a deserted airstrip that wasn't very good. But anyway, we couldn't lower that landing gear, and when we hit the ground, that sucker spun around and around in circles and did quite a bit of damage. But the only one that got really hurt was the pilot. He got shot in the leg, and nobody else was hurt. But after that, I didn't too much care about that. Well, they asked me if I wanted to continue being airborne or if I wanted to work in this secure ground station. And I took that job for the last year, which I really enjoyed because I was working with 2 Collins 75A4 receivers and Collins KWS1 transceivers. It's ham gear, but it was on military frequencies.
Wow.
But man, whenever I wasn't on duty, I could work the United States on Collins equipment.
Oh yeah. He was in Scotland from 56 to 60.
Yeah, same time I was in.
And in the Air Force, man.
I went in when I was 17 and got out when I was 21.
Let's see. Well, how old are you, Ken?
I'm 82.
Okay, so my dad was 81 when he passed. That was in 2019, so he's got a couple of years on you.
Yeah.
So I think he was 19 when he joined the Air Force, I believe it was. So, wow, yeah. Small world, yeah. He talked all about it. It's how he got into radio.
I was on Guam for 18 months, but we did a lot of TDY stuff going everywhere until
Right.
a year. But man, I'll tell you, I used to go scuba diving, and I really enjoyed it. Though the climate was good. A lot of them guys didn't like it, but I had a heck of a time over there. Man, you go scuba diving on Christmas Day.
Wow. No, I was in the Army and I did truck driving. That's what I
That probably
did.
wasn't as much fun.
Oh, I knew, but I did know more about radio than the radio guy.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely experience.
Guam wasn't very big. It was like 15 wide and 30 miles long. Didn't take long to learn everything on the island.
Yeah. No, I was stationed in Germany. So.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Oh, it was. And Iraq was completely different.
Yeah, glad I didn't have to do that.
But it was definitely different.
I missed any wars, so I didn't, it was before Vietnam War and after Korean War.
Yeah, I got an uncle who's fixing to turn 92, and he was in the Korean War.
Yeah.
That was my dad's brother. He lives in Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I feel like they've been around for 100,000 years. I forgot. Yeah, he was in the Army, but he worked at Tinker Air Force Base there for 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
As an engineer. I'm doing something. He'll never tell you.
Yeah. My granddaughter was stationed on Guam. She's been back. She was in the Air Force, and she got out. Her and her husband got out maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But she worked at the bomb dump there on Anderson Air Force Base. I know right where it's at.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, I got out in 2010. So did my contract and left.
Yeah.
But, all right. All right, Ken. Bill, you guys have a good week.
Yeah, you too, John.
You too, John. We'll
I
see you
think-
next time.
Oh, that's right. Next week. What's next week? Tuesday's Thanksgiving. No, it's not Thanksgiving. That's Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be back here. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding.
I'll try to be here.
Yeah, me too.
See you later.
Have a good night.
All right.
Night,
I'm gonna
guys.
go too, Bill.
I'm
Yep.
hitting the button.
See you later.